Hello friends, this is Ralph and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm showing you something that you probably didn't know about the Performance LFO section on the Behringer UB-Xa polyphonic synthesizer. So stay tuned. The Behringer UB-Xa has been on the market for roughly 2 months now. And when I'm reading through some online synthesizer forums, I notice that some users and potential clients are occasionally complaining about certain so-called shortcomings of the Behringer UB-Xa. And one point that is always coming up is the Performance LFO section. Currently, the Performance LFO settings cannot be saved into an individual sound patch preset. But that's only half the story. As a matter of fact, you can save the Performance LFO settings somewhere, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Hi, my name is Ralph Baumgartel. Please subscribe if you are new and like this video to receive future updates. And now let's jump to the Performance LFO section of the Behringer UB-Xa. Alright, we are looking here at the Behringer UB-Xa polyphonic synthesizer. Please note that at the time of recording this video, the version of the firmware is 0.3.58. So we have two LFOs here on the Behringer UB-Xa, the main LFO, and these settings of the main LFO can be saved into an individual patch. Here we have the Performance LFO, and these settings cannot be saved into an individual patch. I'm not a technician and I don't know whether Behringer can improve or fix that with an upcoming firmware update. But for me personally, that's not a problem how it is working right now, because there is actually a workaround how to save the Performance LFO settings. And it's also mentioned in the manual. Let me show you what I mean. So I have here, I have prepared a patch. This one here. And this patch is using the main LFO and also the Performance LFO. Let me explain what the main LFO is doing. It's outputting a sine waveform, and the sine waveform is modulating the pulse width of both oscillators, oscillator number 1 and 2. Okay, moreover, the LFO is also modulating the frequency of the filter. Okay, now let's move over here to the Performance LFO. It's outputting a triangle waveform. And I have set the triangle waveform to modulate the frequency of oscillator number 2 only. Okay, I can also set it to oscillator number 1. But for my patch, I only want to use it for oscillator number 2. So the pitch bend lever is also set only to modulate oscillator number 2. Alright, so let me show you what is happening when I now move to another sound and change some settings in the Performance LFO. So I bring up this sound here. Okay, and now let's switch to sample and hold and assign this to both oscillators. So I have some kind of weird space sound. And now look what is happening when I return back to my previous sound, the string-like pad sound. So, the Performance LFO is now modulating both oscillators with sample and hold. So, the Performance LFO just retained your previous adjustment, and this applying to the new patch. And this is something that most of us don't want to be happening. So, how can I solve this problem? I can save the Performance LFO settings not into an individual patch, but you can save it into a split or double program. And let me show what this is. I now switch to split mode, and I bring up a preset which I have prepared. So let's see here. See how the Performance LFO is changing as I step through the settings, my presets. Okay, this is the preset that I have prepared for my sound. And you see the preset stored my Performance LFO settings. So you see here now, lower and upper is active, and when I leave the split mode, it's turning these buttons off, but it's retaining my Performance LFO settings. Okay, and that's actually a nice way to save the Performance LFO settings, although you cannot save it into an individual patch, but you can save it into a split or double program. Let's add a little bit of delay. Alright friends, have you been aware of this saving option for the Performance LFO? Or are you using it already in your own personal workflow? Or are you still hoping for a firmware update which will enable the Performance LFO settings to be saved into an individual sound patch preset. I would like to hear from you. Please share your thoughts by writing a comment below. And when you are at it, you may also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. Thank you so much for your kind support. Alright friends, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again in my next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, peace.